What's going on, housemates? Marcelo here, and I'm going to be making a different type of video today than what I generally tend to make. And I want to do more of these going forward where I zoom in a little bit and am a little bit more analytical. It's difficult because I'm not able to watch the full games back. I have to look into maybe finding a way to have access to the full games. So the videos I make tend to be based entirely on highlights and just my memory and what I feel from games. Um, so today's video, I am going to be speaking about Mikel Merino in greater depth, and that is thanks to Ben from Instagram. He sort of gave me the idea for this video, and he said, "Great video, thank you. Would love to hear your analysis on Mikel Merino and his role in the squad when he plays that 8 role. I'm finding it hard to find out what exactly he excels at besides finishing set pieces. Lots of what he has been hyped for hasn't really translated." So I hear you completely. I want to say that first and foremost, Ben. I think that that's a real feeling to have. So just looking at a few screenshots from the game itself yesterday, right? Just to highlight a few things that he does offer. So we'll look at this one first, right? So his height is a big advantage in both boxes. There was one moment actually in the second half, I think, where Brentford crossed it in and Marino flicked it away well. But here as well, right? You see Saliba plays a pass into Marino, who's in the box. And when Kai Havertz is unavailable, which is very rare, and even if he is available, right, it's good to have two taller players available to make runs into the box. But he is an outlet for us if we do want to, play it long or play it in the air and knock it down. That's not something that we necessarily do so much of, but it is one of those approaches that reflects Arteta's versatility and, his work towards being unpredictable in attack. So that's one thing I think that he does offer. Another thing he offers, you can see here in the first half, there was a moment where he was under a little bit of pressure and he did really well to shield the ball and play the ball out to Calafiori. Now, again, I know this is something that should be expected of, someone that we signed at the age of 28. He just won the Euros with Spain. So I'm not trying to gas up or make a big deal out of things that he should be capable of. But it's still important to highlight. And I think back to the Chelsea game where he came on and really changed the momentum in our favor. He was so composed on the ball and he was really hell bent on playing forward passes, progressive passes, which we don't always see enough of. And so I think that that's something to look forward to from him more. And then, of course, the biggest thing, as you could see in this screenshot, is he is very strong in the tackle and recovering the ball. He won the most duels across Europe's top 5 leagues in the calendar year of 2024. So that's no secret. That was sort of the buzzword or the main thing people knew about him when we were linked with him and when we signed him. And one stat I want to share with you, which is kind of wild, is that he won possession in the attacking third 5 times against Brentford yesterday, and no player has done so more in a Premier League match this season. And that's actually what I envisioned him doing for us the most when we signed him. Or that's sort of what I thought that Arteta envisioned largely, was a player who's capable of winning the ball high up the pitch in the opponent's defensive third or in our attacking third and get the ball to our more dangerous players who can then punish the opposition and score goals. And that is what I hope that we start to see more of on a consistent basis. I think I mentioned it in the video yesterday, but I think those until he came off really, that second half performance from him was really strong. He had some good moments in the first half as well, but he just continued to grow into the game, and that's something that I really am looking forward to. Now, the main criticism I'll have of him, actually, one more thing that I didn't mention because I didn't get a screenshot of it, but something else that he does really well off the ball is he'll make these decoy runs and he'll have these movements that drag defenders out of position and open up channels for passes to be made. The most recent one I can think of, I think, was the Crystal Palace game in the Carabao Cup for our equalizer. He made a run that opened up a lane, and Jesus made a run in behind, and then he scored the equalizer. Now, again, I know some fans get frustrated when we talk about things like this because it's like, oh, he should be able to do that. He's a professional footballer. But that's not entirely true. Like, some players have a higher IQ than others. And some players, a lot of their value, what they bring to the team, is in what they do off the ball, as much, if not more, than what they do on the ball. So a lot of Marino's strengths are off the ball, or just in these less flashy things that we might not necessarily remember or get much of a feeling out of, in seeing him do them. And with that being said, though, I do think that the biggest criticism of his, and it's a very valid one and one that I feel as well, is I don't think he's maximizing what he is capable of on the ball. I think we can still hope to see him grow more decisive on the ball, be quicker in making a pass or deciding what to do with it. And that's something that he has in him for sure. I just think that he has to grow more comfortable and confident in our system. Because another thing, and then the last thing I want to talk about, is it's hard sometimes to, join a new team, having played at one place for a number of years and really grown into the system at Sociedad. Of course, part of what the appeal was for Arteta, I think, is, that's what he hoped for, to be a seamless transition in terms of style and transferable aspects of our playing styles. But even then, I don't think it's making excuses to keep in mind what his integration into this team has been like. So remember, he made his debut in October, on October 1st, or the start of October. He missed the first 6 weeks or month of the season because he got injured in his first training session. That's a really hard way to start life in a new team, in a new country. He then started 4 consecutive games from late October to early November, okay? And that was Liverpool, Preston, Newcastle, and Inter. He came off at halftime in 2 of those games against Preston and Inter. And so I think maybe that reflected Arteta still tinkering with and getting a feel for what his role in the team really is going to be like. And the other thing I want to say is, for all 4 of those games, right, Marino's first real run in the side, Odegaard was still absent through injury. And so Merino was playing in a midfield that Mikel Arteta probably wished he would never have to imagine, one without Odegaard. And it's no secret that we build so much of our style of play, especially obviously in possession, with Odegaard at the heart of it. So Merino was also first getting a run of games in a midfield that just isn't Arteta's first choice. And it just is so far off from what, Arteta wants to see. So I think that's important to keep in mind. And then after that, he didn't start back-to-back games again until last month in December. So you're looking at a player who hasn't gotten consistent starts really since he joined. And even when he was starting, it wasn't with our strongest, players around him, especially in midfield. So I think that there is still a lot of room for Merino to grow into this team. And I do look a little bit at Kai Havertz, right? Thinking about the first 6 months of his first season at the club and then how much he grew. Now, it's different because, one, Havertz was playing in a position that he wasn't really suited to. And 2, he's younger, and Merino has been a midfielder his whole career, and he's, at his peak age. So I understand maybe why some fans have a little bit less patience. You would think that he should be able to come in right away and do the job. I understand that sentiment, but I think that that's harsh given all of the things that I've mentioned. So again, off the ball, and in winning duels, being an outlet for us with his height, all of those things are strengths of his that are less glamorous, less, appealing to the naked eye. But I think when you look a little more closely, he does things that help facilitate the type of football that Arteta wants to play. And I again will say his biggest room for improvement is in his decision making on the ball. Oh, I forgot to show this earlier, so I'll quickly show it. But there's one moment in the second half where right here, with a better pass, he plays that into Odegaard's stride, and he might be able to get a shot off. I think he would have been marked pretty tightly, and it would have been hard for him to get a real shot off. But it's a moment where Marino hesitated, and he put way too little power on the pass, and it was easily intercepted. So that's where I think we need to see more from him. But in order for us to get the best out of him, I think he needs more starts. So hopefully we will see that. And whether we will reflect how much Arteta rates him. But it's also tricky because Arteta loves Thomas Partey and Declan Rice. So, asking for Marino to start just about every game, I don't know how realistic that is. But I wouldn't be surprised if, with a few more opportunities of starts, we'll see the best of Marino. So be patient for now, and let's just see, because January we're playing 9 games. So he's going to be very important to this team, especially looking at Brighton, for example. Partey's going to have to play right back. So I think Marino is guaranteed to start on Saturday at Brighton. So those are my thoughts on Marino without being able to really do a deeper dive with full match footage, and hopefully I can find a way to do that. But yeah, in the meantime, thank you for watching, and I'll try to start doing more, in-depth videos like this as well. And feel free, as always, whether it's in the comment section here or on Instagram, shout me if you have any ideas or requests for the types of videos you want to see on here, because this is, as much as I love making these, I also enjoy making them because of the folks that watch them. So I wanted to, I want the content to reflect what you hope to see. So anyways, again, only second year of 2025, but I hope it's been a good start for you all. And I will be back probably tomorrow with another video because the transfer window is open. And so there have been some names floating around. So we'll see how we feel about the names we've been linked with. All right. I will see you all soon. Come on, you Gunners. Peace, everybody.